I want to welcome everybody to the hearing, which seeks to continue our oversight efforts of agency implementation and compliance with FITARA and other information technology laws, and I now recognize myself for an opening statement. Since the enactment of the Federal Information Technology Acquisition Reform Act, FITARA, in 2014, this subcommittee has maintained steady and bipartisan oversight of its implementation. In fact, I don't believe there's any other precedent in congressional history where we have had consistent oversight of the implementation of a piece of legislation as we have this one. This is our 14th hearing on the implementation of FITARA. We established and passed FITARA to establish a long-term framework through which federal IT investments could be tracked, assessed, and managed. Since the scorecard's inception, agencies have significantly reduced wasteful spending and improved project outcomes, saving what we believe to be $24 billion in taxpayers' money. The table you see provides an overview of how the federal government performed for both the 13th hearing and the 14th hearing on the scorecard. Compared to overall grades reported in the 13 scorecard, FITARA 14, this one, has 1 fewer A grade, 3 fewer B grades, 2 more C grades, and 2 more D grades. While no agency has received an F since May of 2018, an A grade remains unfortunately unusual, with 2 in the last scorecard and only 1 in this scorecard. The United States Agency for International Development grade remains the lone A. On an individual agency level, 1 grade improved, 8 fell, and 15 stayed the same. In addition to the 3 testifying agencies, the Department of Defense overall grade has declined from C+ in 2021 to D+ this year. The Environmental Protection Agency declined from B+ to C+, and GSA has maintained its B+ grade. FITARA is a biannual snapshot that allows Congress and the public to hold agencies accountable for improving their IT postures. As we've said before, grades are not scarlet letters. The scorecard is a tool to promote better cybersecurity, enhance IT performance, and improve customer service across the federal government. These hearings offer Congress and the public a better understanding of the immense effort agencies, specifically federal chief CIOs, information officers, dedicate to improving federal IT. These hearings provide CIOs a forum to explore the stories behind those grades. As discussed during the January 2022 FITARA hearing, a variety of factors, including changing data availability, agency resolve, and an advancing IT landscape, catalyzed the subcommittee to once more evolve the scorecard. Since then, the subcommittee engaged a multitude of stakeholders in the Government Accountability Office to explore potential improvements to the scorecard's data and methodology. These conversations have resulted in our latest effort to use the scorecard to incentivize agencies to advance their IT and acquisition priorities. As part of our efforts to enhance the scorecard, the subcommittee sent a series of oversight letters to the Office of Management and Budget inquiring about its fiscal year 2023 changes to IT data collection and reporting. We aim to work with OMB and all FITARA agencies to employ the publicly available data best suited to improve how agencies use technology to achieve their missions. As technology and policy evolve, so must the FITARA scorecard. It's with these goals in mind that we unveil Scorecard 14 today and provide a high-level vision of our intentions to use the scorecard to drive agencies to even further progress. The scorecard is a combination of short-term, immediate changes and longer-term goals. Let us start with some of the immediate changes. FITARA requires CIOs to certify that they're adequately implementing incremental development to modernize their IT investments, rather than pursuing the historically poor-performing Big Bang approaches. In the past year, OMB released more granular data on incremental development. As a result, we updated the scorecard methodology to focus specifically on agency progress with software development projects in greater need of incremental development. I also want to acknowledge agencies' straight A's in the Federal Data Center Optimization Initiative category for Scorecard 13. It's time to shift this metric to make it more focused and relevant. As promised, the previous methodology is sunset in this scorecard, Scorecard 14. Finally, in addition to the closure of data centers, this scorecard amended the calculation used to examine federal cybersecurity postures. I want to be clear. The scorecard's biannual publication is not new. This is 14. The Federal Information Security Management Act, FISMA category, is not new. The use of annually required Inspector General FISMA assessments to grade agency cybersecurity postures is not new. And the fact that this administration stopped publishing cybersecurity cross-agency priority goal metrics is not new. What is new and must be dealt with is the lack of data transparency for agency cybersecurity performance. The administration has only itself to blame for the grades we see in this metric today. The subcommittee looks forward to working with all stakeholders to populate the category with more robust data that captures federal agencies' cybersecurity posture. And now, for where we hope to drive the scorecard into the future. While all agencies achieve their self-determined federal data center closures, a small handful of agencies have yet to complete their planned closures, even though we're rapidly closing in on the already twice extended consolidation reporting requirement date. Earlier this month, agency CIOs received a letter from the subcommittee asking them to justify the need for their remaining respective data centers. Subcommittee plans to use these answers as a part of a new methodology. The goal is to ensure agencies think strategically about their costly data center use, incentivize the closure of underutilized data centers, and save taxpayer dollars. It's our hope that focus on this category will enhance federal government's movement to the cloud. Turning to the future of cyber, this subcommittee eagerly awaits the new and improved data behind the Biden administration's priority goals detailed on performance.gov. I and many others look forward to hearing from OMB about the administration's new cyber strategy, which will help agencies remain resilient and adapt in the ever-changing cyber landscape. Lastly, when the subcommittee first added the CIO reporting structure metric to Scorecard 3.0, 12 CIOs had no reporting relationship to the Secretary or Deputy Secretary of their respective agencies. Today, 16 CIOs have direct reporting relationships. 6 have partial direct reporting relationships, leaving only 2 CIOs with no direct reporting relationships. This evolution marks a rise from 50% to more than 90% of CIOs now reporting to the agency head. We're pleased to claim a very successful victory for the IT community, elevating CIOs to their rightful place at the helm of agencies' decision-making tables. As the pandemic taught us, policy falls flat without the technology to implement it. CIOs must remain integral components of agency C-suite officials. For Scorecard 15, the subcommittee will consider sunsetting this category if agencies demonstrate a clear and reasonable plan to elevate their CIOs to a sufficient and necessary authority. During this year's January Scorecard 13 hearing, we spoke to industry. Today we hear from CIOs. In September, we'll hear from the federal CIOs' ideas on evolving the scorecard and an update on the data they're collecting to measure cybersecurity and cloud activity. We need input from all corners to make sure we get this right and that we build a tool that gives CIOs the authorities they need to drive transformational technology improvements at their agencies. As we evolve the scorecard to keep pace with the IT landscape's ever-changing innovations and threats, we remain focused on continuity and clarity and more efficiency to better serve our constituents.